Texas A&M came closer than any other team to handing Clemson their only loss of the season. Now the Aggies get a second chance at the defending champs after an impressive Week 1 showing. A&M routed Texas State in their openers. Kellen Mond accounted for 4 scores in year 2 of Jimbo Fisher's system. Mond had a career-high 430 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Tigers a year ago. At Clemson, they handled Georgia Tech with ease in Week 1 as Travis Etienne went over 200 yards on just 12 carries. Trevor Lawrence was a little up and down with 2 total touchdowns, but also 2 picks. The Tigers have won 16 straight in Death Valley. Going to be an absolute showdown.
What was that?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. For me, it comes down to which defense can stop the other quarterback. You got 2 really good teams that have talent from top to bottom, but let's be specific and correct on how we categorize Clemson. Clemson has the type of elite talent from top to bottom, okay? From their third-string guys are 4- and 5-star guys. They're like Ohio State. They're like Auburn. They're like Georgia. They're loaded like that. Texas A&M is still tooling, is still putting tools in the tool chest.
Yeah.
And defensive coordinator Mike Elko has his work cut out for him with 4 returning starters to that defense. Trevor Lawrence, maybe a few miscues in Week 1. He won't have that Week 2. He'll get better. He's trying to do too much. He's trying to do too much on his shoulders and trying to lead the team, trying to make too much happen. This is a talented Clemson team. I'm going to go ahead and pick right now. I got Clemson.
Listen, you mentioned Mike Elko and what his Chargers did a year ago. Second in rush defense in the SEC, the best numbers they've posted since they joined the SEC 6-7 years ago. And they need to be that and even more in this ballgame. Last week it was Texas State, where they -8 rushing the ball. They only allowed 7 points, and that was on the backups when they got in there versus the Aggies. So they got to be strong there defensively. Also in that secondary, going up against these receivers, that's going to be a tough task for Texas A&M. But I love what Jimbo Fisher is building here. This is a different football team. This is a different mindset. All you have to do is look to last year, and that'll be all you need to see to know that, hey, this team comes to play, and they're for real, and Clemson will not take them lightly. That being said, Clemson defensively, Brent Venables, Mike Elko, as great as he is, Venables, arguably the best in the business. I know we're about to talk about 2 others when we get to that Texas LSU game who are pretty darn good. But I like Clemson in this ball game. Those guys, those pups that you mentioned, 4- and 5-stars who haven't had a lot of run, had 4 sacks last week. I know that's a new offense for Georgia Tech, but those pups are going to grow into K9s, and it may start this weekend.
It's on you, Coach, for an A&M pick. What do you think?
It can go either way. It could go either way. But I'm going to lean to Clemson as well because of this. It's Travis Etienne. I think he's the difference maker. When you look at the way he plays, you mentioned Trevor Lawrence, not on cue. He'll be better this week. But the one thing that's not going away is the physicality of Travis Etienne.
It's a sweep here. Everybody taking number 1 Clemson. Now for the dream matchup presented by Sleep Number, and we're taking a look at the quarterback matchup in this one. Both signal callers were excellent in Week 1. Joe Burrow threw for a career-high 5 touchdowns while completing more than 85% of his passes. Sam Ehlinger was equally sharp versus Louisiana Tech. 276 yards, 4 touchdown passes. BJ,
Yeah.
Longhorns getting no respect, big underdogs. How do you see it playing out? Well,
Who disrespected my Longhorns?
Fairly.
Listen, you said if they're back, they needed to win a game like this, and they proved to Georgia they were back, but that was last year. What have you done for me lately? Here's another big moment, and we always have those pro days in the spring. This is a pro day. I mean, this is good on good. You want to get to that next level, play well in a game like this. So this is a great opportunity for Texas to signify to the nation that we actually are back. Forget that Sugar Bowl. We won that handily. Now we're going to beat another SEC foe. I think Texas can eke out a win at home. I love this young defense. They're just as talented as LSU. They just don't have the experience that LSU has. So they're going to have to go out and minimize the mistakes. And Coach Orgeron is right. This is going to be a physical affair. Blocking and tackling, the fundamentals will play a huge part.
Coach? This is going to be an exciting game. There's no question. I know Texas has a lot of confidence. Sam Ehlinger is really, to me, has gone to another level. But I think LSU is going to squeak out and get this win. I think they'll do enough with Joe Burrow's leadership and the way the defense plays, especially disruptive on the edges. I think that'll be the difference.
Tom Herman is an SEC giant killer. Okay, we know this. We saw Bama walk into that national championship game versus, Ohio State a couple of years ago and just get demolished. Okay, so he knows how to deal with the talent. He knows how to use his talent. Texas has a ton of offensive prowess talent. That isn't what concerns me. What concerns me is who has the deeper commitment to stopping the run, who has the deeper commitment to controlling the line of scrimmage. And for me, that's LSU. For me, LSU, they may have a fandangled new offense that showed kind of a spread attack. We see Joe Burrow faking the outside zone and then going up top. He's got great reads and everything. But who's going to line up and strap it up and win that battle at the line of scrimmage? LSU is more committed to that, and they're more committed to do it because they know personnel-wise they can match up with this Texas team just fine. But who's going to win the battle in the trenches? For me, it's LSU.
All right, so you're siding with Coach on that. Brian, the only.
And that was the college football. That was the semifinals where Ohio State beat Alabama and then went on to beat Oregon in the championship game.
Houston spent 14 seasons between Arkansas and Ole Miss, leading his teams to 9 bowl games, 3 Cotton Bowl victories, as well as being named SEC Coach of the Year. Not once.
They're going to beat him up with the bucket, man.
3 times.
Go.
Signature wins.
Was that Mike Wallace?
Mike Wallace. He wasn't used to it.
07 upset of number 1 LSU. And in 08, they beat defending champ Florida, where Coach got that Gatorade bucket, which, again, left a little bit to be desired. But I suppose you didn't mind after that win.
No, it's good.
So, anyway, Coach, Arkansas, Ole Miss, going to square off this week.
This is a big one because the loser of this game, it doesn't look good. So this is big for both teams. And even though Arkansas won, they didn't feel good about the Portland State win. So here they go to Oxford. And Mississippi coming off a loss versus Memphis. I think Arkansas wins in a very close game.
Not high scoring at all.
No.
First 1 to 15.
Something like 15 to 20.
Kevin, how about you?
Both teams leave something to be desired when it talks about points that are scored. These offenses, I'm waiting for Arkansas, who's supposed to have, a different offensive system, is supposed to be different. They can't score points. Neither of these teams can really score points. But when looking at defense, I think Ole Miss has a little bit more in the arsenal. So I'm going to go with Ole Miss just for that reason. I think defensively they can play a little better and bring a little more to the table. Not a lot of faith in what Arkansas is doing right now.
Yeah, I picked Arkansas in an upset, but I may have to change that because they've given Ole Miss a little bulletin board material. You got a true freshman wide receiver getting his second start, and he's talking noise about the best part of that defense at Ole Miss, which played much better last week, saying that they're good, but we're going to dominate them. Dude, you've only started 1 game. This is going to be your second start. Why don't you be quiet? Go catch a touchdown pass. I'm going to go with Ole Miss. I'm going to say Ole Miss wins this ball game. I was impressed with their defense. Mike McIntyre, new defensive coordinator, did a good job.
All right, there you go. Tennessee, meanwhile, with the loss heard around the SEC last week against Georgia State. BJ, can they bounce back against a BYU team this week that left a lot to be desired in that Utah game?
No. Zach Wilson is an underrated quarterback there for BYU. This kid is pretty good. This is going to be a physical affair. And Georgia State, the Panthers, they were physical last week versus Tennessee, and I think Tennessee takes another one on the chin.
All right, so we're going to pop that up after the video. All right, so you're going Tennessee, BJ. How about you, Kevin?
I think Tennessee.
Wait, I'm sorry. You said they're going to take one on the chin. You're going BYU. How about you?
I'm going to say BYU as well, just because I think Tennessee has a lot of fundamental basic problems. I think when you can't line up and play a basic call and play basic defense or sum up or shore up what you're doing in the run game or protection of the quarterback, I mean, these are simple things. You're not asking them to do a whole lot. Your game plan isn't extensive in week 1. And to be able to execute that against a seemingly lesser opponent, I didn't see it then. Don't think we'll see it this weekend against a very physical BYU team.
Grown men.
I want to say Tennessee's going to come back with improvement, and they're going to get physical. They're going to get the offensive line right, get the defensive line right, and the quarterback, get everything situated and improved, get things cleaned up. But
that's a lot of things.
Yeah, a lot of things. Man, that's why I can't go with them.
You're not doing it.
You want to have just a few things to work on after week 1. Not a whole lot.
Right.
All right, Kelly Bryant had some moments of brilliance last week. Pretty good stats, but 2 turnovers helped Wyoming pull the upset here on CBS Sports Network. How do the Tigers bounce back against West Virginia, Kevin?
They have to do a better job at the quarterback position managing the game. And I think that's what's going to be their downfall. I think Kelly Bryant has a lot to prove. I think he's really trying to lead this Missouri team and trying to show that, hey, it wasn't a fluke. I am a great player. I'm that guy. I'm going to resurrect this team. But you can't do it by yourself.
Right.
You have to play within the balance of your team. And I think that's kind of a learning curve as the season goes on. That's why in this one I got West Virginia.
I think we saw why he lost the job at Clemson. While he posted some big numbers, but there were times where he didn't look like a pocket passer and someone who could survey the field. That being said, I think Missouri rounds in the shape. West Virginia was just blah last week versus the Dukes of James Madison, and that defense can play better there at Missouri. So I'm going with the Tigers.
I'm also going with the Tigers. I think Coach Odom will get them right. I think they'll come back, and I think Kelly Bryant, if he'll just take care of the ball, don't try to be Superman, Just do your thing. I think they'll have enough to win.
Quickly, Vandy struggled to contain Georgia last week. Now hit the road to face a Purdue team who put up 500-plus yards of offense in their Game 1 loss. BJ, who do you like?
I tell you what, they just want the center to be able to snap the ball to the quarterback because they had about 6 that were awry. I'm going to go with Purdue in this ballgame. Rondale Moore, that guy, he can scoot, so it's going to be hard corralling him.
Yeah, Jeff Brom, to me, was one of the best college quarterbacks I played against when he was at Louisville. And he brought the same style of play to what they're doing at Purdue. Offensively, Rondale Moore, you got Bryson Hopkins, the tight end. You got some weapons in that offense. I'm going with Purdue.
I'm going to go with Vanderbilt. I think they're going to come back and get things corrected. I think they're going to hand that ball to Bond. Just keep handing it to him.
He's a good back,
yes.
but he had no space.
He had 180 as a freshman. He was at Illinois versus Purdue.
But he needs holes. So you don't put that on him last week.
Yep.